Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to the Adam Show. I've got a bit of a sit and talk here. I had a battle with Dave the other day using this army. It's an army I'm using in an upcoming tournament. Went really well against Dave's army he used a massive amount of Astra Militarum and 3 Custode Shield Captains, which I'd never faced before, so it was a bit daunting, and it was a good list to put this army to the test for 2 main reasons. A, to see if I could clear out massed amounts of troops, and B, to see if I could take on really tough targets. I felt successful in both those areas, so the removal of mass ranks of troops was quite simple, and when he came forward with the Custodes, freaked out a bit, but managed to kill 2 of them and bring the final one down to 1 wound. Now, we did call that battle at a draw due to a bit of shortage in time, so we don't know fully what the outcome would have been, but definitely built the confidence with the list. So if you haven't checked out that battle report, go and have a look at it, but I'm just going to go over some things today that I've put in the list that weren't painted that day and that I finished up. First and foremost, I want to show the Smash Captain in all his glory. He's finished. So I've done him in the proper Death Company. This makes me feel better about running a Blood Angels army because I always like to have Death Company in the army, so this will at least settle my urge to have some because as you can see, I'm running primaris list. The only 2 things in this list that aren't primaris is this guy and the Whirlwind. So for this guy, I utilised, as I said, primaris and Terminator pieces to give him that bulky look. And just as a bit of a comparison, I just wanted to show, this is one of my older Blood Angels models. If I stand him next to him, hopefully you can get the difference in size and scope. It really gives my Smash Captain the effect I was going for, which is I want him to be able to look like if he's going up against a Titan or something like that, he can run through it. Give him that hulky look. On the battlefield the other day, he performed mediocre. I think there was 2 things I did wrong. I gave him the extra Feel No Pain command trait instead of the extra damage. So for the tournament, I'm going to be going with the damage because his main goal in the army is to just do damage. So 4 damage on the Thunderhammer will be what it is from now on. I'll still give him the Death Visions of Sanguinius, so he get the extra attack on the charge, and he'll still get a 6-up Feel No Pain. It's not the greatest Feel No Pain, but he's a Seeker Missile. That's his job. Fly in, smash things up. One of the main reasons he's been added in is I know that I'm going to be facing, a Riptide Wing. It's always the thing. As you've seen with Dave, he'll probably be bringing down the Custodes. So I really do need a model such as this one to be able to at least take out one of those big things or put a massive dent in it. Me and Dave did have a conversation about adding a second one in by removing these guys, but I've done a few scenarios since that match, and there's just too many situations where massed heavy bolt fire comes in handy, so I really want to keep them in there. And I think 1 Smash Captain's enough if you use him properly. And it is only a 1250 points. I don't want to be that guy. I prefer to win on tactics rather than just pure smashing my opponent to the point where they're not enjoying their day. Alright, this guy. So he, in the battle report, stuck with the 2 Hellblaster squads to give him the reroll 1s. And we also had this banner guy with him to give him the Feel No Pain. And then I shielded the front of that squad with this 3-man Aggressor squad. Now this guy is only a 95 point model. He's Primaris Captain. He does well. I give him the sniper rifle and the sword. So that just gives me a bit of lime defense for my Hellblasters, and he also jumps in with the Aggressors for a bit of a beat 'em up. But I'm not spending a massed amount of points for a guy that may not necessarily hit combat. But then, he's a bit more rounded with the sniper rifle. He can join in shooting with these guys. And a Blood Angel with a sniper rifle, with a power sword isn't to be underestimated because our ability to get +1 to wound, and that's even if we get charged, so it's really good line defense. I did contemplate, the plasma pistol, and power fist, but then it goes back into that thing where he doesn't have long range shooting and more points, etc, etc. He's really there to give the reroll ones to these guys. Now I got these second unit painted up, happy with them. As I said, I'm going with just your normal plasma incinerators. I've found over the course of a few games that just this strength 7 version, 30 range, rapid fire is the go-to. I know that the assault's good and da-da-da-da, but in an all-comers list, this is where you want it. You know, you can take on heavy infantry, you can take on tanks, you can take on anything. You got good range, so you're never really in that position where you can't quite reach out and hit something, which is, you know, the way I see that. If there's a turn where these guys can't shoot, you have wasted 165 points for a turn. They're that little bit cheaper too, so can't really argue with that. They did really well in the battle, really well, support fire. They forced people to come out. They forced people to position where you want them to position. Going back to the Smash Captain as well, he strikes fear in the heart of people. People will position and position and position till you bring him in. They will continually maneuver around that. So just by having him is a tactic within itself. So I suggest Blood Angels players, I'm sure by now every single person has one. I'm probably a bit late to the game, so I'm not going to act like I've invented this guy or anything. He's something that someone else, I don't know who, come up with by studying the codex, but good job whoever that guy was. Alright, this guy, if you are running Blood Angels, get this banner. This relic is more important, I would say, than the command point farming one. The command point farming one is hit and miss. This is guaranteed. You get your 5-up Feel No Pain, which is just massive. The way I had it was he was in with this captain, these two guys, and the aggressors in front. So first off, you're giving the guys a massive survival rate by having this guy in there. You know, he's still got his gun, so he joins in on the shooting too. So once again, he's giving him the Feel No Pain, he's shooting. But then the other clever thing was as well, is that he also gives on a 4-up anything that dies, gets to get up and shoot again. Now when you have this guy surrounded by all shooting things, it's brilliant. Every time a Hellblaster went down, you know, 50% chance he'll shoot again. The aggressors, there was a funny point in the battle report where Dave was considering shooting at the aggressors just for the fact that he had a minimal squad on an objective, and he had a fear that if he'd shoot them, that they'd get back up, and the amount of shots they pump out, he wouldn't have got that Maelstrom objective for the turn, because I would have shot at him in my turn. So just that, and he's a 69 point model. The amount of like durability it gives your army, the fact that you can get up and shoot back. You know, if someone kills your model and then you shoot back and kill something, like you're really earning points on top of points. Brilliant. So yeah, Hellblasters, I think everyone knows, they pretty much, you know, they're my go-to devastators. As you can see too, I've done them traditional Blood Angels in both squads. Blue helmets all the way, just to really identify who the heavy support is. So the aggressors, I think these, I've never put these in a battle, and I only ever take 3-man squad. I've got another 3-man squad, to tell you the honest truth. The only reason it's not a 6-man squad is because assembling and painting them is a nightmare. But that's okay, I'll get around to it. These guys, the amount of shots they pump out for clearing infantry, and then, you know, they can join in on the assault. There was a few times in the battle report where, you know, their power fists come in handy and took some wounds off some shield captains, and the real threat of them though is the amount of shots they pumped out just for clearing the centre of the battlefield. Awesome. I don't know if you can see too, because the tournament's coming up, I've gone through and put tufts of grass just to make them a bit more pretty on all the different models throughout the list. So putting them in front of, you know, these two and the plasma incinerators just pumps out more shots, which adds to that shooting bubble, but also puts some close combat in front of it too, which being Blood Angels with their strength 8, they're pretty much winning everything bar tough 8 on 2+, which is a scary thing. You know, they got the reroll 1s because they're near the captain. Very important. I was happy with how these guys performed. They were able to come down with my captain and provide that shooting support. You know, they cleared out guardsmen, and they also got some maelstrom points by jumping around onto things. I can see so many uses for him in different battles. I just can't swap them out for another captain just because I like my army to be like a Swiss Army knife. I like utility. I think, you know, I've got the 2 captains. That's enough. I feel that a third one's kind of like, you know, beating a dead horse. Yes, it's effective, but depending on the battlefield, you know, if I come up against something with hordes, you know, this is handy, but this can also shoot at heavy things as well. So I prefer that massed amount of shots. So I'm going to keep them in the list. I feel that over, you know, it gives this guy a bit of something to come down with as well, you know. Some of the examples were, if you're fighting a Riptide, people like to use the drones to pump off the hits, like, you know, palm them off and put them on the shield drones. So, you know, by bringing them down with this guy, 18 shots into, you know, their little shield drones, which I'll be able to position these guys to get a line of sight on them, means that all my Thunderhammer hits are going to come home on the Riptide or on whatever can palm off hits. You know, even just clearing paths with this guy's for him to go on through and smash face, as that's what he does. So keeping them in the list. I like the boulders, 135 points. You can't ask for much more. All right, the last thing in the list that I finished painting up is this Whirlwind. So it's in the list. I found that in the last list, I just take the, I think it's the Castellan launcher. It's just the 2 D6 strength 6 shots. So I finished him off. I just like to put the 2 different missiles in. I think it makes the model look a lot cooler. It's up to you guys what you like. But this also, I think in every army, you should have a weapon that can hit things without having to have line of sight. This does it perfectly. It's like 100 points, 2d6 strength 6 shots, you know, like against guardsmen, Tau Fire Warriors, you're wounded on 2-ups, you don't need to be able to see them, you can clear them off objectives. Also, you know, these guys could be in awkward positions where other things can't give supporting fire, they can give supporting fire. Some of the things me and Dave talked about too, you know, again with like things like Riptides. Ghost kills, for instance. If you shoot their drones first using something like this, because their drones are going to be hidden if they're, you know, a player worth their salt, kill their drones first, then you're only a -1 to hit them. It's small tactics like that, by using a 100-point model like this, change the outcome of your battle. You know, you can use different things in different armies, but always have something that has a really long range and doesn't need line of sight to see the enemy. You'd be surprised how effective it is at killing those annoying little scouts units and that, running away with relics and hiding and all that stuff that annoys everybody. Righto, so that's the list. It's all painted up. It's ready to go. Oh, sorry. These 3 units, 1, 2, 3, just with the normal bolt rifles. I don't pay for the other 2 rifles. I think that range 30, AP1, rapid fire at 15, beautiful. Definitely power sword on the 3 sergeants, because as you've seen, if you watch the battle report, they did join in on the battle and chop some heads. So they also have an auxiliary grenade launcher. I always forget to use it, but it's 1 point, so it just rounds me off to 12 points exactly. So this list is 12 points exactly. There's a few stratagems I'll be using. 4 of them do get spent straight away because he takes the relic banner, he takes the relic that harvests command points, and he takes the relic jump pack, plus the other command point is spent on him becoming Death Company. But then, you know, at the start of the battle, I roll to see if I get a couple of them back. If I don't, well, I've just got 4 command points, but the only command points I will really be using in this list is him coming down, getting the 3d6 charge. If he makes the charge, which he will because it's a free reroll, so it's very unlikely he won't make it, then I'll use the red rampage on him to buff up his attacks. That'll be him, you know, hopefully he smashes whatever he does. The last command point will be used to, the last one, what is it called? Got the codex here. It's the one where you can, it's not Descend of the Angels. Cannot find it. Upon wings of fire. So I can redeploy him. So, you know, come down, 2 command points. Mind you, I may get some of these back too. Then to charge in. 1 to get the red rampage to smash him. And then, depending on where he is, I'll save that last command point to use upon wings of fire to reposition this guy to go again to smash the next thing. Alright guys, so that's the list. Bit of feedback after the report. As you can see, all models are now finished, prettied up and painted, ready to go for this 1250 point battle report. Over the next couple of weeks I'll be getting some more practice games in with these. If you're liking what I'm doing here, click and like and subscribe to the channel. I'll keep making videos, hopefully you're enjoying it, and I think the next battle's on Tuesday. It's Sunday now, so I'll get back to you guys then. I hope you enjoy your day. I'll see you later.